We have another California perspective now from NewsNation contributor Denise Gitsham joins us. She's a former Republican congressional candidate from the state of California. Denise, it's always good to see you. Are you an In-N-Out Burger fan when you're home? Or
oh my gosh, you touch my animal style double, and those are fighting words. I'm telling you, there's war to be had.
She was ready. What about the CEO's comments, though, about on a personal level, at least, she says, I'm going to Tennessee, and not the first person to say I want to get out of California for, one reason or another. Not, she says, not family friendly. A lot of people say not business friendly.
It's both, right? It's California's and I live here. So I'm coming to you live from the Bay Area.
There you go.
It's the third most expensive state in the nation, with a cost of living 40 to 50% higher than the national average. Utilities are 31% higher than the national average. California's fuel prices are 62 cents more per gallon than the national average. Highest income tax in the nation. Massive overregulation, which you talked about. Labor costs, third highest minimum wage. I feel like we're the third highest in everything. I mean, the only place more expensive is like Hawaii or something. But crime, think about if you're a parent and you're thinking about your family's safety. We have the 6th highest crime rate in the nation, and our residents, this is crazy, are 48% more likely to be a victim of violent crime than anywhere else in the U.S.
Yeah, but still, even with that, isn't that interesting, though, still, to the state senator's point, and some of those points were valid points that he's making about the economy is still one of the largest in the world and still growing. People,
it's
sometimes,
it's in spite of the leadership.
Okay, but there's some, it reminds me of New York. I grew up in New York and work and lived in New York, that there is the success or, a lot of economic growth brings a certain sense or a certain level of complacency, doesn't it? Because you think about it, like why would you want to live in New York? Some people watching from somewhere else, I don't know, I wouldn't want to live in New York. But there is a reason, like the reason that people come here. No, but it's not just that. There is a higher level, especially when you're younger, a concentrated higher level, in my view, of talented individuals who all come here, and you're going to be around them. And that's the same thing in California. Like if you go to Silicon Valley, you're going to be surrounded by a higher level on average of really smart people.
Really cool, innovative, bleeding edge.
So then you don't want to change, right? You might not want to change.
Lots of money. Like if you have a lot of money, nobody thinks about leaving New York if you've got like a lot of money, or California or Silicon Valley or LA. Most people don't think about that because they're able to, a couple million in taxes a year doesn't really affect them when you're making hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yes and no. I mean, I think you're getting to a level now where people who would be considered by everyone else to have a quote unquote a lot of money are looking at affordability more than they were.
And and there's a lot of factors, like talking about family friendliness. Like, look, it's no surprise that California is the most liberal, state in the nation when it comes to social policies, education policies, what you're being taught, your kids are being taught in school. And the COVID did not help. It illuminated a lot. So I think that what she's saying is legitimate. In-N-Out's also a really strong Christian company. They have Bible verses on their wrappers, on their cups. They have a really firm faith foundation, which is why we used to always stop there on my way down to Tijuana on our mission trips for youth group. And so anyone who's a person of faith feels like a lot of times, when they're shutting down the churches during COVID, that we're being targeted on purpose.
No, I get it. And we've seen it from other people. I mean, my point is like, if there's on a net basis still growth, that the motivation to change is not necessarily going to be there.
It's not there. It's too beautiful out, y'all. I get my tan. I get to go outside and breathe. There's no mosquitoes. It's really hard to leave. I'm living proof of that.
There you go. So you bashed the whole thing, and then you just said you're in there, you're from there, and you're still there. All right, Denise, it's always good to have you on.
I love it. I'd fight for it.
There you go. Thanks for coming on with us, as always. Denise
My pleasure.
Gitsham.
Thanks.